Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, Sigval here and welcome back to another video. I have actually a special one for you today. We're going to look at the tier 8 league rates done in 6 fights solo. That means that nobody else in that league, if there was anybody was involved in the fights, and there were only 6 fights used. This one is gonna be brought to you by Carlos. Anybody remember Carlos? He's back to the Injustice Mobile community, so let's show him some love. I'll put links to channel in the description and the pinned comment. Definitely some fire content from this dude overall, except for when he's off for milk, playing Genshin Impact and not playing just to mobile. But yeah, back to this video. So let me actually adjust the position of my face, make sure the quality is right. There we go. Let's also give some sound to this. Hopefully the music is not copyrighted. Okay, so first up we're going to have the Batman the Drowned fights. Plus Battle Laughs, plus Deathstroke, interestingly enough. I don't think I've seen too often this setup specifically. In soul rates, I think you're better off using Brainiac with Battle Laughs as well to guarantee the 2 billion, but here we don't need to do 2 billion, we need to do far less. He's doing jump attacks there and he's blocking. Dr. Fate doesn't seem to be jumping as much as I was expecting him to. Special 2 from Deathstroke. Batman drowned back in there. Keep building up the combo. I think the sound is too loud. Let me tone that down a little bit. Yeah, this should be better. Down drowned again, building some crisis energy and back in super move. I really hate the way Batman Drowned works because it messes up with the AI, because the water that you see is seen as hazard and they're going to act up weirdly when they're in hazards because they're trying to get out of it, and when you have a hazard that's the size of the map, getting out of it is quite impossible, so the AI doesn't know what to do. Building a little bit more crisis energy again, super move, getting back into final form. He didn't really focus on the percentage hull damage with Battle Laughs so far, more on the dot damage side of things. I guess the percentage hull damage is gonna come out by the end of the fight anyway. And while the dot damage is running because of the beta club, we're going to have Deathstroke squeezing in a few specialties of his own. Quite interesting way of mixing it, actually. Like, the way I was doing it when mixing stuff like this was like, first of all, get something out of the way, like the percentage health damage from Deathstroke, and then move on with your fight, but I guess it's beneficial to combine them. Special 2 in there, maximum crisis energy, again jump attack to trigger the dot damage, and that's actually going to be a 2 mil value. Oh boy, I shouldn't have reset that actually. That was a sad reset because he didn't get 2 million again. Special 2 from Batman Drowned, and she actually dies. She actually dies, so he's on a little bit of a countdown to deal damage, because even though she's dead, the debuff that she applied that increases the Battle Laughs damage is still there, but for how long? Not that long. Actually long enough. That buff is quite hard to deplete. But yeah, out of all the fights, I think this was the most scuffed fight. But definitely still getting the job done, that's all that's important. Also, when you see them having a stagger animation from a special in slow motion from the special 1, just know that you taunted them and there will be a special coming in. Boy, this was really a close one. But yeah, the Batman of the Drowned stacks actually held up until the end, so it doesn't matter at all that she died. Yeah, this fight looked weird, but it's because it's Battle Laughs and Batman the Drowned. You're never gonna get clean gameplay out of this, and well done on this one. I don't think I've ever seen that team used in that way. Now, it's gonna be a classic League of Anarchy team against my boy Grodd. It's gonna get a bit bullied, but that's fine. Usually, you don't use any more the League of Anarchy against Phase 1 because you no longer keep the buffs. Like back in the day, it was usually used against Phase 1, but now that you transition to Phase 2, you don't keep the buffs any longer. And the League of Anarchy team has been for a while restricted to Grodd fights. Or to Captain Cold fights if you're willing to risk it with Harley, Arkham Knight, Batman with Dark Metal cards, but that highly depends on the stance. Though this team I think can work against Captain Cold. I think I've seen somebody one-shot Captain Cold too with this team, even though you get less damage because no clones at the start. But Joker is absolutely gonna demolish this fight. We have All Blades on him, we have Dark Metal cards on EPI, and we're going to have the tag him from a block, question mark? Or not, question mark? Special 2 in there, trying to push him back to the corner. He's gonna have super moves enough. Swipe down, gonna back off. Joker back in there. Special 2. Another special 2. And super move is on the way. EPI will have to tank that. There we go. A little bit overkill on the EPI build. She tanked that with quite a lot of health left. Like, I think I have my EPI exactly built so that she tanks the Grodd super move, and then if she takes some damage, I'm like, oh, she just died. It's okay, she was not at full health. Understandable, have a nice day. Another special 2 in there, push him back to a corner. Most of this fight is pushing him back to a corner, and after he's there, you're gonna have optimal damage. And yeah, there's the tagging from block from Joker. We're getting into the actual proper gameplay of this fight finally. It takes long to set up this because it can be a burden to push him all the way to this point, and at the same time it can be a burden to push him again after he uses super move. And I guess you could combo and chop with Joker for a little bit more damage, but if I was doing this, I wouldn't combo and chop either. The combo interruption for doing more damage is obviously meant to help you do more damage, trading off some easier gameplay for more damage, but at the same time, why would you do that when you have enough damage anyway? Just go for the safe gameplay. There we go, Grodd's down. 2 one-shots so far, 2 more to go, and then we move on to Brainiac. Okay, so for this fight we have Mr. Freeze. Don't know the star rating on his Mr. Freeze because we can always... actually, I think that's a 6-star with a border like that. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's a 6-star, same for Wonder Woman. And he's gonna have Beta Club on him. We have obviously classic Superman there to reduce the armor because all bosses in League Raids have armor. And since there's a Beta Club, there's gonna be jump attacks, and even if you would have armor pierce on basic attack hits, that wouldn't matter. Sort of salvation on classic Wonder Woman to power steal. Special 2. And finally the classic Superman there for the armor reductions. Not sure why he didn't do it so far, though maybe he wants to chain the armor reduction with the freeze breaking to kind of chain the freeze. We'll see how it goes. So far promising enough amounts of damage. Yeah, the freezing area sadly expired because he would have been able to freeze Boss Captain Cold again. It's quite tricky to chain freezes with characters that are not legendary because 1 hit additional and you break the freeze. Because when you do it with Brainiac, it's not gonna break because he's also legendary and takes advantage from the passive of Mr. Freeze. And again, it expired, so that's unfortunate. Also, keep in mind, this man is immune to freeze, so there will not be a guarantee to freeze. But even though it says a 25% chance to freeze targets that are immune to freeze, it's actually gonna be surprisingly easy to freeze targets that are immune to freeze. I don't know how it's calculated or how it works, but it works well. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah, 2.2 million damage, it's definitely gonna do the job here. Since you're not really armor reducing, a way you could do it is with a swipe down sometimes, if you clearly see when they're getting out of the freeze, because if you do a swipe down, they're gonna forget they're in a hazard and they're going to try to do normal basic attacks hit on you. So you block them and then you go ahead and freeze them again while they're hitting you. But yeah, this was a one-shot, a little bit scary at the end because it got stuck a bit. The game was like, hold on, what's going on here? Over here we have a Manta fight against this man. So we have Vixen as well. Vixen I think is not doing that much. If I'm correct, I think Metahuman has a class advantage against Might, yes. So Vixen is reducing the detriment of that class advantage that Scarecrow has. Also, lucky tagging with Red Hood, that you got super move in there, we got the time extension. And we're seeing 4 fast stack hits from Manta, so we know it's going to be the Joker as pet ranks, which means more damage after you use a special. And special 2 will be a very good fit because it's also going to allow us to reduce the armor of Boss Scarecrow because he's also got very high armor. Come on, chopped again. Come on, chopped again. Into another special 2 soon enough? Question mark or no? Okay. Now pushing him back to the corner. Not sure why he didn't do special 2 there. Because I thought he was saving up energy for the third special in order to have an easier time pushing back to the corner. Though again, it's not a guaranteed stun, so... But yeah, we're back here, and Vixen buffs are still active for some reason, by the way. The Vixen attack is still active. I don't know what's up with that. Used to be that when she died, the buffs would be no longer active. At the same time, randomly, when I use her in Soul Raids and she dies, the buffs are no longer active. But Manta doesn't seem to care. He's getting all the 4 buffs from Vixen. And while in Soul Raids, that's something to laugh at. In League Raids, that's huge. The attack buffs from Vixen are absolutely huge. He's able to do 3 combos before the poison expires, so a lucky guess would be that his Jokerized Batterings are at the very least above level 7. I don't know where exactly to place them, but at the very least above level 7 or level 8. Our second special. At this point, this man has no defense, so we're going to be able to do a lot of damage here. Wait, is that 4 hits or 3 hits? I think it's 3 hits. Let's count them again. 1 string of hits, 2nd string of hits, and yeah, Scarecrow is gonna die before we can count. Why is your game always lagging after you kill something? Look at this. And it didn't froze because it was like loading in the corner here. That's definitely weird. Surprised you didn't get unusual gameplay, by the way, with the Joker as veterans. But yeah, that's boss Scarecrow down. 4 fights, 4 bosses down. Now we have only 2 fights available to kill Brainiac to fulfill the 6 fights promise. And obviously, to no one's surprise, is gonna be Kim-Flan Suckerman with Beta Club plus Raven over here with what I suppose Sword of Sin. Just a lucky guess, we'll see how it goes. Yep, Sword of Sin. There we go. Stacking the darkness as soon as possible. Another special 1. And last special 1, there we go. We have 5 darkness stacks, Kim-Flan Suckerman jump attack special 2. Oh boy, 1.6 with no Coam stacks. That's either an insane Kim-Flan Suckerman or an insanely good rolled Beta Club. That Brainiac is melting at this point. You shouldn't use special trees in this fight because you want to keep them for phase 2. Where you're gonna have a little bit of a hard time dealing damage. There we go, already at 3 mil. So most likely gonna try to make it so that he dies to dot damage without having to go tag Kim-Flan Suckerman back in there. And here I have Dr. Fate, who should be the one to go first in phase 2, because we need him dead as soon as possible. Like, he's needed there to give the team cost reduction for the specials, but having him alive in phase 2 is gonna be a little bit of a burden. And there we go, Lucky getting Raven tagged in back in there right after Dr. Fate dies, so we can get stacking darkness. You can get all the way up to 4 darkness stacks before King gets back in. Like, it's rough to get 4 of them, you have to play it perfectly, but it's possible to get 4 of them on the first tag in. Another special 2 in there. There we go, King is back to full stacks. He's gonna jump to full stacks if you're not already at full stacks when you get out of phase 1, so that's also something that's going well for him. Or even just spamming specials at this point, you want to make sure that you use specials right before she tags out, because you want to have as much of a duration on that darkness as possible before she gets tagged back in. Jump attack again. Keep spamming that, her special is disabled sadly, but yes, special 1 again. Also keeping that power low, so there's no way for him to damage anybody. And another special 1, there we go. King back in there, and we're gonna have soon enough a transition to phase 3. Now it matters a lot in this very little time left how much damage is able to do in phase 3, because it's going to dictate how much the second team needs. And I want to point something out. I've been playing around with Grodd, Batman Ninja Grodd plus Brainiac in Soul Raids for a while, which is definitely a fun fight. And I want to point out that this man until this point has not used Brainiac and Grodd at all, so we're definitely going to have a nice fight on our hands following this one. Yeah, I wouldn't say... Oh, never mind, he did... Oh boy, I was gonna say, I wouldn't say he did a lot of damage in Phase 3 with Conflant Sakumen, but... Yeah, that's a reasonable amount of damage. I've seen a little bit better, a little bit more lucky Phase 3 damages, but definitely not something to laugh at. Now for the last fight, we have our chunky boy Grodd with Brainiac and Robin. So we're going to see if this is enough to one-shot Phase 3 and Phase 4. That's a 7-star Grodd, so that boy has a lot of base attack. And keep in mind, this is very important for league rates, because we have no soul rate passive stats, we don't have huge attack from the artifacts, so base attack is actually going to be very important here. Special line there. Curious what level that Grodd is, by the way. Level is not gonna be that relevant because it adds a little bit of attack, adds a little bit of special level, but those are not gonna be that important here. Our special one. Sort of Sin again on Brainiac. Keep him power drained. The power steal hazards are the power drain hazards are not gonna do that much because he basically generates more power with Grodd than he loses here. Also, the dot hazards, even though he hasn't been on them too much, shouldn't do that much damage because he reduces the attack of Brainiac, and for some reason those hazards are going to be dependent on Brainiac's attack. There we go, Phase 4 is gonna be smooth sailing unless he messes up and gets super moved, though it's almost impossible to mess up that badly, to be fair, if you have Sword of Sin. Brainiac back in their special one again. I don't think you lose the lethal attack damage stacks from Brainiac when you transition phases, because it's not like a debuff that was on the boss, or do you lose them? Oh, you actually lose them! Oh boy, that sucks ass! Like, if you come to think about it, yes, it's basically the same logic as with the Last of Joker stacks. I guess it makes sense. I mean, none of them make sense, but it makes sense compared to the other things that don't make sense but happen anyway. Another special one there from Brainiac. Bro, I haven't played League Raids in a while, but I've been busy. The apartment that I'm gonna soon enough move in is almost ready. Yeah, I've been working on it with my dad for the last half a year. Look, we got it for cheap, but it was a shithole, so a little bit of work to be done. But yeah, it looks like Grodd is really getting buffed up by little attack damage and is really getting those sweet values. There you go, ladies and gentlemen, I think we can already call it here. This is League Rates in 6 fights. Tier 8, bring back Tier 9 and Tier 10 already. People are soloing this without sweat. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. Like the video if you liked it, dislike if you disliked it, subscribe for more content like this. Check out Cuddles, links will be in the description, the pinned comments. And goodbye. Wait, what's that meme at the end, by the way? Bro! Goodbye.
This is the future.